Good afternoon. Welcome to our live stream. Today we are talking about climate. We started this topic last week. We started it yesterday, and we're continuing today. We have a lot of stuff to cover. We have vocabulary and idioms and conversation questions. We're covering a wide variety of topics when it comes to the topic climate. It's a big topic. Thank you, Yuki, for offering it, for suggesting it. And yeah, so I thought maybe let's just kind of get into it. I hope that everybody is well who's able to join. Hello to you. Hey, Brad, not seen you in forever. And hey, Michaela. Gotcha. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Alessio. Super happy that you were able to make it as well. Hey, Nick. Nice to have you here as always. So yeah, so let me kind of get my stuff arranged here. I have my desk is so bad. It's an issue. The climate on my desk is out of control. So let me grab our first slide for today. We have some vocab words. And yeah, hey, Kaluna. Welcome to you as well. I'm able to add more slides, so I hope to mix this up a little bit better so that, because sometimes it's a little repetitive, me moving around and everything. It's your birthday. Nice. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. I never understood what gotcha means. I think it's Brad's thing, gotcha. And but gotcha means like I get it, kind of. Gotcha. I understand what you mean. It's a very friendly way of saying that. So let me look here and let me find our first slide for today. We have some vocabulary words talking about climate, as I mentioned earlier. And let me open up the first one. And here we go. Okay. I hope. Yeah, there it is. So, talking about temperatures, this is going to be our first sort of vocabulary and like topic point. Yes, happy birthday to Brad. Welcome. And I know that you work, so it's super sweet that like you're here on what must be a day off for you. Okay. So we have vocabulary words that are as follows. Let me see what I have done here. Hold on one second. There we go. We have mild, chilly, scorching, boiling hot, and freezing point. And so A, extremely hot, B, pleasantly warm, not too hot, not too cold, C, cold enough to freeze water, D, uncomfortably cold, very, very hot, like boiling water. So what do we have for mild? Y'all are so sweet, wishing Brad a happy birthday. uh, yes, I'm actually all of the week. Yep, I say gotcha to each other, and I'm actually off all week. Oh, good for you. Okay, cool. We'll have a quiz tomorrow too, Brad, if you want to join us at the same time. Actually, maybe a little bit earlier. I messed things up yesterday. Hey, Hatoko, dear, welcome. Yes, I'm happy to be home. So I locked myself out of my home yesterday, which, I mean, as you can imagine, I had this whole list of things I needed to get done before our live stream. And my friends and my neighbors, they were very kind to house me yesterday till 6 p.m. So basically from 1 to 6 p.m. Hello, Mabel. Hello, Natalia. We have a lot of familiar faces who haven't been around in a while. Awesome. And so, yeah, so I'm back at home and it's nice, but my to-do list is extreme now. So anyway, we have mild, chilly, scorching, boiling hot. Which one works best with one? And I think we already have a lot of answers. Hello to you, Alexandra. Nice to have you here. Your name looks familiar and yet it doesn't. Please remind me, Alexandra, where you're from, what's your situation? So we have 1B from Alessio, Leah, and Kaluna. So yep, I was saying up, saying you and don't Jen. Gotcha. Yes, you and I, we say gotcha. Exactly. Okay, 1 is B, obviously. 1, mild, pleasantly warm, not too hot, not too cold. Alexandre Fort? Where? Alex Fort. Is that your name, Alex Fort? I'm not sure. Help me. Yes. Hey, Mabel, you're sweet to wish Brad a happy birthday. Okay, so yes. So many people like living in a mild climate, right? Where it's not too hot, it's not too cold. Extreme sometimes can be difficult when we live in those sorts of situations. What about, and maybe we can do this just to make it a little bit more interesting. Which season would you say is mild? What about for number two? Thank you, Leah and Alessio, keeping us on track. Missed you too, Brad. Nice to have you back, hopefully for the week. So, number two, we had one is B. And what do we have for chili? Chili can also be like a pepper, but then it's spelled differently. It's Chily, like a tamale. Woo, it's hot. That's a really hot chili, spelled differently. And this is something different. So I saw your live and I was like, gotcha. Cool. Very cool. So Kaluna saying two is D. Who agrees with D? Natalia, you're absolutely right. Number one is B. What do we have for number two? Mild could be spring season. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe sometimes in spring, like late spring and maybe, or mid spring and maybe mid fall as well. Michaela's saying D, exactly. So chilly, D. So uncomfortably cold. What am I saying? Huh? I'm losing it. Number two, D. Uncomfortably cold. Yes, my brain was saying chilly and thinking mild. Yeah, so chilly, like it's starting to get chilly here in Germany. I have this big warm sweater on. Our house is very old and the walls are very thick. So on the 2 days of the year that in Hamburg it's really cold, then or hot outside, it's great to be in here. Otherwise, it's always chilly in here. I always have a blanket or something. Hey, Mohammed, which is your favorite season? I like spring a lot. I like the feeling of spring. So we have a lot of people guessing three is A, Kaluna and Michaela and Leah, I think. So thank you very much for keeping us on track. Three is A, and that's absolutely correct. So scorching, something is scorching. Gosh, it's scorching outside. So 3A, extremely hot. It's a scorching day today. The weather is extremely hot. We did not have a lot of scorching days this summer in Hamburg. It was one of those summers that was mostly gray and cold and kind of, yeah, chilly, not scorching. All right, Kaluna, darling, thank you for keeping us on track. Boiling hot. So another way to describe this. So Michaela and Kaluna are both saying E. Let's just go for it. So very, very hot, like boiling water. But you can also say it's boiling hot today. It's a scorching day. These are ways to explain or to say that you are, that the day is very, very hot. Exactly. So Alexandra, your name is Alexandra or Alexandfort? There was something that you wrote that I didn't really get. I just do want to get your name correct, so I don't want to be rude, okay? And so four, okay, boiling hot, exactly. Leah is E. All right, and last but not least, obviously, so when we talk about temperature, we talk about the freezing point, and that is 5. That's C, cold enough for water to freeze. Boiling with anger. Yeah, 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 yeah. Absolutely. I'm boiling with anger. Absolutely. Like you can just feel like your blood inside like is starting to boil because you're so angry. Thank you, Alexandra. I just want to get your name right, sweetie. Sorry. Okay, let's move on to some conversation questions. We're sticking with temperatures because we have a big old world, and thank goodness everybody comes from someplace different typically. So we have a lot to learn from each other, which is wonderful. And I'm going to stay right where I am. And my first question for you is number one. Do you live in the northern or the southern hemisphere? Yeah, what do you say? Do you live in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere? Hello, Saeed. Hello, welcome. Got to go to an appointment. Got your replies for me. Okay. Take care and have a good birthday. So, what can you say? Do you live in the northern hemisphere, in the southern hemisphere? And, when you travel a lot, you start to kind of realize that there are somehow biases sort of built into where you live. Like, I think living in the northern hemisphere, we tend to often think that of everything as being in the northern hemisphere. So, in the northern hemisphere right now, it's slowly but surely inching its way. So you're on the equator. Okay, Leah, cool. So we're slowly but surely inching our way into fall, which means that in the southern hemisphere, they're inching their way into spring. So yes, you too. Yes, Kaluna. All right. So you're on the equator. And so yeah, so I don't know how it is for those of you who are not in the northern hemisphere, what it's like if you think more in terms of, like, it must be strange because so many TV shows and movies, they show things that are sort of like northern hemisphere related. So Christmas, it's cold, but if you're in the southern hemisphere, obviously it's hot. It's summertime. So yeah, I wonder about that sometimes. My own little personal thing here. And so yeah, so northern or southern hemisphere. And second question, please. What's the temperature in your country today and what season is it? Thank you, Alessio. Highs of 25 degrees Celsius in Milan. Today is the end of summer. Is it today? Really? The 17th? Okay. Northern hemisphere, I don't like cold weather. So in winter, it's good to travel to Australia. Do you do that sometimes? Do you travel to Australia in winter? That's why we go to South Africa a lot, because we can avoid the dark and the gray here in Hamburg. Yeah, so maybe you do that. And so, and last but not least, does your country use Celsius or Fahrenheit to measure? It's about 21 degrees. Okay. So then you're probably, I'm going to guess you're somewhere in Europe. Where are you, Alexandra? And no, it's not today. We're going towards the end of summer. Okay, okay. Yeah, I was thinking it was like sometime. Let's see when the last day of summer is, because I just out of curiosity, unless someone already knows that, I'll ask our robot friend. Mainly here, lots of rain. No, I can't afford just streaming. I hear you on my own. I would never be able to afford that either. So Italy is in the northern hemisphere, but two of its islands are geographically part of the African continent. Ooh, interesting. Okay, I'm going to probably kill these. Lampedusa and Lampiona, I think. So you're from Serbia. Okay, okay, good. Thank you for letting us know. That's wonderful to have you on board. We don't have anybody who comes regularly from Serbia, and I love it when we have people from different places to kind of give us a good feeling for what's going on in your area. So now in Egypt, it's fall. I'm going to look for the last day of summer in the northern hemisphere, and I seem to be Nepal. Okay, cool. Welcome on board. Man the local. I remember your name. September. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You've saved me. So what's coming up? Really, we have 5 days. All right. So thank you to my Serbian friend. So, oops, what does that say? Jinzi. Ah. Oh, is that your name on Instagram? Okay. 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 All right, so let's move on. Let me get back to my notes because I need them. And also Yuki brought up this subject that we should have today, the topic for us today, and she was also wanting to point out, because those Celsius and with Fahrenheit in the United States we use Fahrenheit, but mostly around the world people use Celsius. Of course, I don't know why we still do this. We still use inches, we still use miles, we use pounds for weight. And Peter was showing me on the weekend, he was just like, your system is so bonkers. It makes no sense. So I live in the USA, and summer today, It's 99 degrees. And Carmen, are you in Miami maybe? Do I remember that correctly? And welcome to you, sweetie. Yeah, so we use Celsius. We use Celsius in Europe and in most of the world, and Fahrenheit definitely in the United States. But I have lived in Germany so long that when I talk about temperatures, it's in Celsius. So I still use pounds. Like if I weigh myself, it doesn't feel right if it's in what is it? Kilos. It feels right if it's in pounds. And but for weather, definitely I need Celsius nowadays. Maybe you can give me some thoughts on that. Otherwise, we're going to head on to our first poll question of the day. I have to get my little thing here. Oops. All right. So let's see. You live in California. Okay. So 99 degrees today in California. Oh my word. That's hot. Wow. All right. Well, then I hope you stay cool. We'll talk about that later, how we can stay cool in hot weather. So let's see. Let's move on to our first poll question for today. I usually have these when we start our lesson, but nope, we're jumping into this. Okay, so first poll question of the day. What is your perfect rainy day activity? So I know that Kaluna loves gloomy days and like I think that you like to go for walks in the rain as well. But let's say like perfect indoor rainy day activity. So let's say you don't go get out in the rain and splash some puddles. You get out there. Do you A, like to drink hot chocolate or tea? B, reading a book or watching movies? C, drawing, painting, or crafting? D, staying cozy in bed, napping. So, napping is when we take a short little rest. So, sleeping at night, you go to bed, you sleep. And a nap is maybe what you do in the afternoon. And E, listening to music or playing an instrument, or maybe you have something else that you enjoy doing when the weather is raining outside. Okay, so Nick has a bunch of things A, B, D, and E. So, the only one you said you don't like to do is drawing, painting, and crafting. It's easier to read your answer, the one you don't like. Carmen A, okay, drinking hot chocolate or tea. That's always nice. And in California, you don't, depending on where you live, I guess if it's 99 degrees today, it's Southern California, then yeah, then you don't get a lot of rain. I love staying cozy in bed, listening to the raindrops on the metal roof. I also love movies. Kaluna, that's one of my favorite sounds too. When Peter always like jokes that he's going to make me one day, that he's going to design for me my dream home, it always has a metal roof. I love, love, love that sound with the rain pelting down on top of the metal. It's so beautiful. I find it so relaxing. Okay. Any other things that people would like to share? If not, we'll hop into some more vocabulary words related to rain. Curious, probably you know these nicely, or know these already. Yeah. So, Alexandra, you're saying A, B, and D. Let me go back and see. So, drinking hot chocolate, reading, and D, staying in bed. Yeah. Like rainy day on the weekend. You don't have any errands to do. You don't have to get out. Just stay cozy in bed. All right. So let's move on to some vocab words related to rain. I need to find a better, hold on, a better mouse pad. I'm just creating things here. So remove this slide, move on to vocabulary, and let's see what we've got. I think these words are going to be pretty easy for you. So we'll go through them kind of quickly. If any of these are new, please let me know. I'm always curious about what is new and what isn't new. It helps me to also kind of gauge a little bit later on what I should include or not include. All right, here we go. Number one, funny sounding word, drizzle. It sounds kind of strange, I find. Drizzle. Number two, shower. Number three, downpour. Four, mist. A, very light rain, like tiny drops. B, short period of rain, usually not heavy. C, heavy rain that falls quickly and strongly. D, very fine water droplets in the air, like fog. Okay. So, Natalia, today it's raining and I'm listening to your magnificent live stream. Oh, that's nice. I think yesterday you had sunshine, though. I think you had a wonderful day of sun, and I'm super happy to have you here. So, let's see. Number one, drizzle. This strange, kind of ugly sounding word. I'm going to even be so bold as to say it's ugly. So, Kaluna, cool. You have 1A question mark. So this must be a new one for you. Leah's going with A. Alessia's going with A. So yeah, you're right. Number one, drizzle. A, very light rain, like tiny drops. Exactly, Nick. Yeah, and Hotoko as well. So this fine rain where you technically don't really need an umbrella. You probably still would have an umbrella, but it's not heavy rain. It's more of just very light rain. We have drizzle a lot in Hamburg. And so, yeah, raincoat, umbrella are essentials here in the city. Number two, a shower. So this is not what we do. We go and in the shower. This is something different. What is a shower? Number one was A. What is number two? Shower. Another meaning for shower related to rain. So Colleen's going with B. Any other guesses for B? Nick B, Alexandra B, Carmen B. Okay. So yeah, number two, shower. B, a short period of rain, not heavy. But I would say actually it is pretty heavy. It's like a short period of rain that it rains a lot. Not torrential rain, not like, flooding kind of thing, but you have a nice amount of rain, but just for a short period of time. All right, number three, a downpour. Number one was A, Natalia, just so you know. Number one was A, number two is B, and three, Alessio is saying C, Kalina saying C, Michaela saying C. All right, so three is actually downpour, C, heavy rain that falls quickly and strongly. Exactly. My words are growing together. So yes, Nick, Michaela, Alexandra, and Natalia. Yes, two is B. Carmen, three is C. Exactly. So downpour is really that heavy rain that falls quickly and strongly. A downpour of rain. And today it's been drizzling outside. Yesterday it was a downpour. It was partially a downpour, partially a shower, let's say. And last but not least, obviously, four is mist, is D, very fine water droplets in the air like fog. And what we said yesterday, the difference between fog and mist is that fog is heavy and you can't really see through it. And you usually need special lights on your car so you can see. And mist is more this very fine, this very light water droplets in the air. You can typically see through it. So that's the difference between mist and fog, but it's both types are moisture that you can see in the air. All right. So I hope some of these were new. I think that maybe drizzle was new for some of you. So Natalia, yes, three is C and four is D. Fog jump? Fog lump? Fog lamp. Exactly. I think that's supposed to be an A. I'm going to guess that's an A. All right. Let's do some idioms related to rain, and then we'll do a little brainstorming section. So let's see. Lamp. Okay, I figured. All right, so let's see. Let's do number 5. And here we go. And I think I have to hop over to here. Let me move here. And we have some idioms. All right. So we have when it rains, it pours. And I tell you in life, this is such a good idiom because it really is the truth. Number 2, save for a rainy day. 3, come rain or shine. And 4, take a rain check. So these are all really great idioms that are used quite frequently. It's sunny here. Nice, Michaela. Lucky you. A, do something later, not now. B, bad things happen all at once. C, no matter what happens in any situation. That sounds strange. D, keep something like money for the future. So what do you have to tell me? When it rains, it pours. What can you tell me? Which idiom works best with that definition? When it rains, it pours. What can you tell me? One, Hitaka saying B, Alexander saying one, B, I think. Okay. Good guessing. I love it when people guess. It's not about knowing the right answer, it's about trying and guessing. So Alexandra is super. Hey, Miranda. Yeah, Miranda. Welcome, my Georgian friend. You're pretty new to our community. I like having you here as well. Okay, so Nick, everybody's saying B. Yeah, one B. When it rains, it pours. Bad things happen all at once. And come on, that is so life. That's such a total example of life. Number one, B. When it rains, it pours. So she got sick, failed her test, got a flat tire on her car, lost her wallet, and all in 1 week. And then, when it rains, it pours. And that's exactly how life is sometimes. One B, all new to me. Oh, cool, cool, cool. These are pretty good classic ones. So awesome, Kalena. All right. So Alexandra and Alessio, thank you, you two, and Miranda are hopping on to number 2, to save for a rainy day. Hitoko as well. Everybody's saying D. Keep something like money for the future. Exactly. So he keeps extra money in his wallet to save for a rainy day. Now, I should be doing that, but I don't. So I need to save for a rainy day, but somehow I have a monthly allowance, and somehow by the end of the month, it's gone. So there is no such thing as that for me, unfortunately, not at this moment in time, but maybe one day. Yeah, I should save for a rainy day. 3, we have come rain or shine. Which one works best with number 3? And I don't like this definition at all. We can create something new. Miranda, you're good. You've got C. Carmen's got C for me. What other answers? Alessio, thank you, dear. C. Exactly. So come rain or shine, no matter what happens in any situation. So no matter what happens in a situation, something's going to happen. I can give you a sentence. I think that makes it easier. She practices the piano every evening, come rain or shine. He shows up on time, come rain or shine. So it doesn't matter what, this is going to happen, kind of thing. One we say, okay, here, okay. I can't really read. It rains on the wet, but the meaning is the same. When it rains, it pours. It means it rains already on the wet. Okay, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I like that. Thank you, Michaela, for sharing that with us. All right, Miranda's keeping on track. And of course, last but not least, 4 is A, take a rain check, is to do something later, not now. So your friend invites you for lunch and something happens and you can't go, but you don't want to just completely cancel. You can say, hey, can I take a rain check? And this means that you would like to do it at a later date, on another day, where you're not canceling completely, but you just can't do it right now. So another example of a sentence, I can't go to the party tonight. Yeah, I don't know. I can't go to the party tonight, but I'll take a rain check. And I think that it comes from baseball. I want to say, I think I read that somewhere that back in the days when they first started playing baseball, if it rained, then in order to keep the players and the audience safe, then they would do a little rain check. They would write a rain check for people. And when it rained, and they would say, you can come on another day and you can watch a game. And that's where this idiom came from, I think. Or I'm creating a nice little story for it. In Italian language. Here, oh, you love it when I do this. Okay, so here we go. Piove sul bagnato. Bagnato. Piove sul bagnato. All right. Don't leave me. All right. So I have a little brainstorming exercise for us. And I don't know, I'm kind of tired today. And so I think that I actually forgot. Yes, I did. All of my banner, we have no banners today because, yeah. Okay. These are still the banners from last week. My apologies. So I will just have to tell you the first banner for today is if you get caught in a rain shower, what are some things you hope to have with you? And I have a list of 10 things, and let's maybe take 2 minutes and kind of brainstorm and come up with some examples. So here we go. 2 minutes. You get caught in a rainstorm. What do you hope to have on you? And I will cross off whatever you say from my list. And let's see how many that you can get from my list here. Let me get my little marker here. All right. So let's see. Rain, rain, go away. Little John wants to play. Okay, I know rain, rain, go. My internet connection is wonky today. So I know rain, rain, go away, come again another day. That's the song I sang as a kid. Raincoat, absolutely. So that's number 2 on my list, or any other waterproof jacket. So raincoat, waterproof jacket, umbrella, ding, ding, ding. Number 1, absolutely. What else might you want to have with you when there's a sudden rain shower? An umbrella, okay? Anything else that you can think of? Any other sort of items or things that you can think of? I have about 10 things. Let's see. So wellies, umbrella, raincoat, a car. Does that say car? All right. So yeah, a way of getting home that's inside somehow. Yes. So you can say wellies, you can say waterproof boots. Maybe either you have some sort of boots that have some sort of spray on them, or rain boots. Wellies is British English. Americans tend to say rain boots. So umbrella, raincoats. Oops, hold on. I think I missed Alessio's answer here. Uh, Raincoat and boots, exactly. Let's see, another pair of shoes. Yeah, definitely, right? If you have to walk in the rain and then your feet are not wet and miserable all day. A mobile, umbrella, raincoat, wellies, extra clothing, absolutely. Waterproof shoes for sure. Flashlight, power bank. Serious storm, Michaela. Yes. So I have on my list as well, I have waterproof phone case, maybe, a towel, like to dry off, perhaps, a rainproof bag. Maybe if you have a backpack on that you can put like a backpack cover, exactly, towel to drive, Hitoko. Exactly. All right, cool. So we are now moving on to our next section, and we're talking about wind. And I realized actually that we're talking about rain, we've talked about wind. I can't remember what we talked about yesterday. I guess I can look. We talked about different weather forecast, climate versus weather, cloud types. We have a lot kind of with rain. But of course, we could do a lot more with sun. That we don't have. More money for a taxi. Yes. Strong will and good mood for a rainy day. Totally, Alexandra. For sure, for sure. Okay, so we're going to move on to our topic with climate, but dealing with wind. All right. And so let me just move over here really quickly and pull up our first poll question about wind. And so that's number 6. And I need to hop over to here. Doop. So, right here. All right. So, poll question. Have you ever experienced strong winds or a storm? A, yes, it was scary. B, yes, but it was fun and exciting. C, not really, just a little wind. Or no, I've never experienced strong winds or a storm. So, I've definitely experienced strong storms. When I used to live in Nashville, Tennessee, it was really cool because you would get these really powerful summer storms, and it would be like 10 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden, black clouds would come over the sky and just completely cover the entire sky. The street lights would come on. The winds would pick up like there's no tomorrow. And so it was black, it's like 10 a.m., right? So black sky, street lights on, heavy winds. But I always thought it was somehow kind of magical, especially if I didn't have to be outside, right? So, like a good storm, a nice storm can be scary and destructive. Absolutely. Kaluna depends on where you live and what you've gone through. If you've gone through a hurricane or a typhoon or something like that, I never have. It's just been strong storms and tornadoes that also sometimes lead to storms. Yeah. When I used to live in Hong Kong, every year a typhoon hit. And was that scary? D, no, I've never experienced strong winds. That's in Myanmar. Okay. Look at our international community. I love it. We have Indonesia, we have Serbia, we have Myanmar, we have Moldova, Japan, Italy. It's so, so wonderful. Carmen in Miami. So, yeah. All right. So, I think that it kind of depends on the situation, right? Sometimes a storm can be really nice and sort of powerful and interesting, and sometimes it can be very scary. I'm fortunate to say never experienced a scary storm, not a storm, but some strong wind. Oops, sorry, hold on, I lost that. Toko's message popped in. But some strong winds, yes, when a student was typical for that place. Okay, so where you studied, it was typical to have high winds. In Guam, our flight was canceled and we were evacuated. The front glass of the hotel was broken by the storm. Ooh, that's scary. I'm glad that y'all were okay. Natalia C, not really, just a little wind. Okay, strong thunderstorms scare me to death. Okay, but you're our gloomy weather day lady. Okay, but thunderstorms, that's and rain too. Yes. So okay. All right. We have another little brainstorming exercise that I really wish I had a nice little banner for you, but I do not. Anyway, so how do people prepare for strong winds and storms? Again, I have a list. Let's turn it into a 2-minute game. Let's say that a strong storm is coming in, high winds, and your country is asking you to, or the government is asking you to prepare for it. What would you do to protect yourself, your family? And I have probably about 10 things. I'm sure you're going to think of a lot of other stuff. Yes, gloomy, but no thunder. Okay. Does that make sense? It does, it does, it does. And Kaluna, just so you know, thunder is one of these words that even if it's lots of thunder, it's considered uncountable, thunder and lightning. So first you hear thunder, and then you have all right, sorry for that acting. Strong winds aren't specific for our territory. Okay. However, we were upgraded to a fancy hotel. Woohoo! Silver line in the cloud. Yes. Every cloud has a silver lining. Good use of that. Absolutely. All right. So, yeah. So, my question to you is have you ever, sorry, no. How do people prepare for strong winds or storms? What can you do to protect yourself? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things. Get my little marker out so I can scratch them off. And let's see how many you come up with. I think I've set my timer. Let me take a look and see just to make sure. 2 minutes. Oh, you know what? I'm going to pause it for a second. We'll go back a little bit. Can I do that? Cancel. We'll do it again. Okay. So, yeah, 2 minutes, and you can tell me all of the things that you can think of that one could do to protect themselves. Here we go. All right. So, what have you got for me? I once experienced 10 minutes of strong winds while I was on the beach. Sand was flying. Terrible. Yes, that must have been horrible. But when like that happens, I'm like, oh, it's like a free microdermabrasion. There's always a silver. There's a silver Sorry, guys. Thank you for sticking around. Is there a strong wind? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I have a bad internet connection today. I hope you can hear me now. So I had to restart my computer. She flew away with the wind. Yeah, there was. I have a good vocabulary words coming up for a win for us. Yes. Okay. So I was asking you that, yes, nope, disappeared for everybody. I was asking you actually what people can do to prepare for strong winds and storms. Let me scroll up and see if any of you had already answered that. All right, you had. I can see that. I can see. All right, so let's see where we are. Find a safe place. Exactly. And Natalia, in this case, a safe would be SAFE. Safe is like it's secure. And so I'm going to write here secure. My apologies. I have no idea what's going on with my internet here. We will be on Ibiza soon and have better internet on an island. Safe is secure. And let me get that up. And save is like you keep something. This is a common mistake. So thank you very much for making it, is to keep something. You save it. And safe is secure. So let's see what you have to say here. You say, what was the poll question, guys? Okay. Yeah. So what you can do to prepare for a storm? So buy food, supplies before the typhoon hits, duct tape glass windows. Okay. You sound like an expert. Things that help to protect ourselves. So disappear. That was that. Yes. I'm back. I'm back. Flashlight, exactly. Some supply for light as electricity will be gone. Exactly. So it's like flashlights, candles, things of that nature. Reinforce the doors. Exactly. Shelter. I have some specific ones that I think are kind of interesting here, and I will write this in the comments because this is a word that doesn't typically come up. So to check the roof, to make sure that everything's okay on the roof. And here's the word that I think you might not know, and the gutters. So it depends on where you live. So maybe you can tell me if you have gutters. But in the States, we have gutters. In Germany, quite often we have gutters. And this is where, here's the roof. Okay, so here's your house, here's the roof. And on the edge of the roof, there's usually this like little tray that looks like this. And this is where the water and the leaves collect. And then it goes down a pipe somewhere else. I have no idea. And so, but usually it's really important to check before heavy rains and storms that these gutters, that they're not full of leaves and dirt and sticks and things of that nature. So we have to, okay, so you have gutters as well. In Germany, sometimes like with really like high-tech houses, they cover them so you don't see them. I don't really get how that works, but you can do that somehow. But in the States, no, it's on the outside. In many houses in Germany, you can see it as well. So before a big storm, to check the gutters. Also, close the windows and doors. Make sure you have an up-to-date emergency kit. Thank you, Kaluna. Stay informed, right? That's a really good one, I think. You have gutters too in Serbia. Okay, cool. And I'm going to write that down because I like to always know where my people are from. So Alexandra is Serbian. Okay. There used to be, okay, let's see. There used to be many balls in the gutters when kids were small. Yeah. Those all somehow end up landing up there. Exactly. Okay, anything else that I have? Stay informed, which I just said. So keep abreast of what's going on, know the different information, plan for power outages, which I think Alexandra said with having proper lighting. And avoid getting out there and taking a look at things. You know, you have people that are storm chasers. That's not such a good idea, but yeah, I don't need to tell you that. All right, let's move on to some vocab. And let's see, and these are also for different types of wind. So we'll learn some vocabulary related to wind, and you can talk about what happened to me when I disappeared just a minute ago. So, and let me move myself over. because I'm going to be in the way, and that's way too small. So there we go. That's also huge. Maybe that's better. Yes. Maybe trees should be far away. Yeah, yeah, yeah. As it often breaks. Sure, exactly. So make sure that maybe limbs, the long arms on a tree, the limbs, that anything that's kind of loose already, to get rid of it, so that maybe they don't fall, or that the trees can fall on your home. So here we have our vocab words related to wind. We have wind chill, gust, draft, gale, and breeze. A, gentle light wind. B, the feeling of cold caused by wind. C, very strong wind. D, a, a current of cold air indoors. E, a sudden strong burst of wind. So, what do you think works best with number one, with wind chill? Which one do you think works best? Wind chill. You hear this often when you hear a weather forecast. They will talk about the wind chill. Except the first one, all of these terms are completely new. All right, cool. All right, so Alexander's saying one is A. Who agrees with her? Okay. Okay. Kalunas agrees with a question mark. Any other answers? I can tell you actually that one is not A. 1, 2, and 4 are new. Yeah, these are words we don't have a lot of times. So that's the nice thing when we go into such a specific topic. Same for me. Okay, cool. All right, Michaela, my dear, you are totally right. She takes the prize today for this exercise. So wind chill is 1B, the feeling of cold caused by the wind. The wind chill. You'll hear a lot of times if you listen to weather in English, the wind chill factor, meaning like how cold it feels with the wind. So the wind chill, the feeling of cold caused by wind. You only guessed A. Okay, all right. So number 2, what about a gust? A gust of wind. What it kind of, since these are new for everybody, just guess. You know, how nice to learn English. Nice to have you here too. I said as well, but I was, but you were not sure. Well, yeah, no stress, no worries. Let's just do it. So, what do you think, gust? Does gust sound like, what do you think that sounds like? Which one do you think makes the most sense? We've already scratched off B. 1 is B, so that's no longer in the game. All right, so Alexander's like 2E. Yeah, a little laughy face. All right, anybody else have something to guess? Thank you for being brave, Alexander, and just guessing. That's the exact right thing to do. Kaluna's saying 2D. I don't know. Okay, we have several E's coming in from, okay, and a C from Nick. All right, so the answer is number 2 is for gust is E. So Miranda, go with your instincts. E was correct. So gust 2E, a sudden strong burst of wind. A gust of wind carried Jennifer away from the internet. Hello to you, Sisiman. Hello to you. Abdul Karim. Welcome. So number 2 is E. Number 1 is B. 2 is E. And what do you have for me for number 3? 3, draft. And these words, now that you have heard them, I'm sure that you will hear them again, because these are really used to describe different types of wind. So 3, Miranda's going with D. What else have we got? Any other guesses? 1B, 2E, 3, who knows? If you want to think of a gust of wind, you can think of Marilyn Monroe and her famous white dress where she's pulling her dress down. It's like a gust of wind that blew it up, as an idea. All right, so Alexander's going with D, Miranda's going with D, and everybody else is kind of quiet. So yes. 3 is D, a draft, a current of cool air indoors. And you can think of this like when you have old windows, then you can always have this little light air coming through the window. And that is a draft or under a door. You can have when there's a little space underneath a door and the cold air comes through kind of very softly, but you can still feel it. Then it's a draft. You can go into a house and be like, ooh, it's drafty in here, meaning that you could just kind of feel this light air coming in through the house, through the windows, underneath the door. So this word is used a lot. Draft has a lot of different meanings. We'll just stick to with this one for today. A light wind or a light bit of air coming through the windows or doors, for example. Gust is the wind that blew your umbrella inside out. For sure. Exactly. That gust of wind turned your umbrella like this to this. Exactly, Michaela. So Miranda's saying for is C, and Alexander's saying for is A because breeze sounds strong and scary. Okay. I like your rationale. I love your reasoning there. All right. So Natalia's saying for is C. So Miranda's saying for is C. And so, Alexandra, my dear, I like that you're going with your instincts. And sometimes we're right and sometimes we're wrong. In this case, wrong. Sorry. So gale is C, very strong wind. So when you have a storm, you can talk about the gale winds. Draft, creepy wind in horror movies. Exactly, Kaluna, right? Ooh, you hear the ooh, a little bit, kind of. Definitely. Yeah. All right. And last but not least, actually, so Alexandra, breeze is a nice thing to have. On a hot day, you suddenly have this nice air that just comes around. It's really quite often welcoming. It's usually air that you really want to have around. It's a gentle, light wind. When you think of curtains blowing in the wind, it's just a gentle breeze. It's a soft, nice wind. And you can say it's a breezy day. There's a little bit of a soft wind. Your hair is not doing this. It's just kind of like, a little bit of flying around. Maybe we could talk about different winds according to what it does to your hair. So I love a warm breeze. Me too. I love it. Yes, breeze, you knew. All right. You knew that one. Okay. So yes, so 1 was B, 2 is E, 3 is D, 4 is C, and 5 is A. And we're moving on to another brainstorming question, which I ridiculously forgot to add into our live stream today. So I will read it to you. Which extreme weather condition is most dangerous in your country? So which weather condition is most dangerous in your country? Which for me, living in Germany, nothing. There are no dangerous animals, insects, spiders. I don't know if those are insects, but and so storms and things like that. We don't have earthquakes, no volcanoes. Everything is very chill in Germany. When I lived in LA, definitely like with storms and stuff, you could have some serious storms every once in a while. And Nashville, where I came from, very big summer storms. But here it's pretty mellow, What about in where you live? Let me know. A cold breeze for me. Yes, a nice cold, cool breeze for you. All right. So in Italy, earthquakes. Okay. And I guess technically these aren't storms, but we don't care. Let's just go with dangerous stuff. So it doesn't really have to do with climate per se, but whatever. So floods. Okay. So Nick, where are you in Myanmar again? I think you said Yangon, I want to say. Gracie, I didn't know you were here. Hello, sweetie. Here, strong winds sometimes destroy ceilings, windshields, and cars. Wow. You have storms that destroy ceilings and in this case, you might want to say roofs because you mean the top of the house. Underneath the house, this is the ceiling, and on the outside, that is the roof. Just so we're on the same page. Floods as well, earthquakes and tsunamis. Yes, very scary in Japan. Anybody else? Now I feared. Okay, well, welcome, dear. Happy to have you. Any other things that you can tell me about natural disasters in your country? Otherwise, we are going to slowly but surely move on to some other vocabulary words. And this is sort of a mixed bag of vocabulary words. So let's see. Let's see how many of these you know. Because I think a lot of these words, they're not words you hear every day, but they are good words to know. If you read, if you watch the news, if you watch the weather, it could be interesting to watch the weather now in English a little bit to see if any of these words pop up and to kind of get a feeling for that. I would love to see what that's like for you, that experience. And I am going to hop over to here. Yes, of course, Nick. Well, not of course. I have the memory of Dory from Nemo, so sometimes I don't remember, but I like trying to remember where everyone is from. So, all right, river flooding. Okay, Michaela. Yes, tornadoes. Gracie says. So, question number one. Let me see. Number one was, have you ever seen hail or snow? Describe it. And hail is the rain that's frozen that sometimes can be extremely dangerous because it can be like the size of a baseball, or it can be like little tiny ones, and lots of them, little frozen balls of ice. Those are called hail. And snow as something different. So, not so dangerous, not necessarily dangerous, let's say. So, what can you tell me? Have you ever seen hail or snow? We had a really bad hail storm. Maybe it's so long ago. It's ridiculous for me to even talk about it. Probably 18 years ago, but it was pretty impressive. It was hail that was so strong and so damaging that some people's roofs on the top of their car got little dents in it. So, like if you have a flat surface and a ball of hail hits it, it will dent in, it will cave in. That is a dent. If you get into a car accident and your smooth surface goes in, that's a dent. I'll pop that up. That might be a nice little vocab word to have. Let's see. Strong. Okay, that was that. And floods as well, Alicio. Yes. Or that was that. Okay, now we see that. Thanks for remembering. Okay, that was that. I've scrolled up too far. I saw both here in winter, snow, and in summer, hail. Yes, and that's typical, right? Once the stores destroyed, the hail destroyed cars. That can definitely happen. I've seen hail and snow. They were big as a golf ball. Oh my goodness. They are both forms of solid precipitation, soup precipitation. I always say precipitation. Absolutely, Michaela. Super usage of that vocab word from yesterday, too. You've seen both. Yes, we have 4 seasons, so it's snowing in winter, even though I do not like coldness. Snow is beautiful, definitely. Like, I mean, in Germany, it's cold too, like I said yesterday in our live, but it's often just gray and miserable. And just everything is dead. But when it's white, it's so gorgeous. Yeah, unfortunately, both of them. Hail is very dangerous, definitely. I've never seen real one, but I've seen fake one or snow in the world. So you've never seen hail and you've never seen snow. I guess it all depends where we live, right? And what about with number two? And this made me really think of Yuki, who unfortunately is not here today, because she sent me an article that I've still unfortunately not read, because in Japan, Hitoko, you can probably let us know, the summer was extremely hot. It was uncharacteristically hot, so unusually hot. And so she would tell me sometimes some things that she did to keep cool. So what do you do to stay cool during a heat wave? So have you experienced a heat wave, and what are some good tips for staying cool during a heat wave? In the South, we never have heat waves. Yeah, Gracie, because you're in Patagonia, right? I would imagine it's pretty cool there all year round. And nowadays, snow is really quite rare. Winters weren't like that before. So it has changed where you lived. I guess summers are hotter than too, Alexandra. Hail can destroy entire crops in a few minutes, definitely. Two, I drink cold beverages, stay indoors and under tree shade. We love cold, we have cold waves. Okay. Oh, all right. So the exact opposite. Drink a lot of water. And Gracie, you're my southern hemisphere friend, right? Because you're in Patagonia. So I think you're like the only person here today that is in the southern hemisphere. We have some equatorial friends. I think that's how you say that. I'm actually not sure. Take a cold shower and drink water. Is it correct saying cold waves? I've never heard that, but I don't know why not. But before I give you Jenniferish, then let me look. Can we say, I'll ask the bot, can we say cold waves? I would think so. A cold spell, we often say. I know that. Yes, you can say cold waves, cold wave. Yeah, you can. Hello, Aziz-san. Hello, dear. Wearing clothes made of natural fabrics, also a great idea. I always find it interesting that it's like it's counterintuitive. Like when it's hot outside, I want to open the windows. And then Peter freaks out. And he's like, shut the windows. Because it's often when you have an old house like we do, then the windows are made of stone. Hey, Yuki, darling, I was just talking about you and saying that you had nice ideas this summer for staying cool during your heat wave. But it's often counterproductive or like counterintuitive, let's say, and counterproductive when you open the windows and let air in because just the hot air comes in. But my instinct is to open the windows. But I think that's because I grew up in air conditioning as an American, right? Let's see what you have to say. Drink a lot of water, take cold showers and drinking water. That was that. Cold wave, clothes. Aizo-san, unfortunately, yes, in the southern hemisphere and very far away from Europe. Okay. Drink cold water, cool water, stay in air conditioned spaces. Exactly. So in Germany, we'll have like maybe 3 days, 4 days max with really hot temperatures. So, of course, there aren't many places that have air conditioning. So, what I do is I like to go grocery shopping and I linger. So, like, I hang around in the frozen food section for a while because it's a little cooler over there. So, you could kind of like escape the heat at least for like 15 minutes or so. So, that's my trick. For those couple of days when it's really hot here in Germany. Let's see. Argentina is an isolated country. Okay. We leave the air conditioner on all day. We are warned to avoid heat stroke. Okay. So your country encourages you to use the air conditioner, air conditioners. Michaela, in Italy, do you have a lot of air conditioners or not so much? Drinking lemon water. Ooh, I like that, Aizo-san. In the South, houses don't have air conditioning, right? And in Germany, we don't have air conditioning either, typically. Let's see. So, greetings to Aizo-san. Hello to you, Badar. Here in the Middle East, the weather is scorching. We stay in air-conditioned buildings. Yes, I can imagine you often have the most, probably every place has air conditioning. I've seen videos that Germans love opening the windows, even in the cold weather. And Miranda, it's not just opening the windows, like just opening the windows, it's at night, like when you sleep. I mean, I don't know. I'm too panicky for that. I like to have everything closed and sealed off, and I definitely don't want to open my windows at night. But yes, that's absolutely true. And also, people open that it's called luften, where Luft is the German word for air, so they air out the room. In English, we say to air out the room. So you let the air out, or you let the whatever the air to exchange. So you have the outside going in and the inside going out. And I'm sure it's healthy. I'm sure it's good for you. It's definitely great for your house too, because it gets air going, circulating through the house. But they will do this also in the middle of winter. And I'm just like, I did not sign up for this. I don't like this. So, yes. All right, I digress. Stay in air-conditioned room and have ice cream. Yeah, sit swimming in a pool. And another thing that I loved, when I was pregnant with my daughter, we had a horrible heat wave, and I would put my feet in ice cold water. So my fat, pregnant feet, I would just put them in cold water, and it was just the most refreshing thing ever, ever, ever. So definitely stuff like that. Maybe get a cloth and sort of dab yourself with cool water. It could also be an option. I don't know. I have people randomly call me from Instagram. Like it's strange. Like, don't call me. you know? Anyway, so all right, let's move on. And we're going to move on to moon phases. And again, a big thank you to Yuki, who contacted me and who said it would be really great to talk about climate. And I'm like, what specifically would you like to talk about? And she gave me this nice list. And I basically, Yuki, I just took your list and worked from there. So thank you very much. Again, this guy is calling me. Why? Don't call me. Who calls people nowadays? Right? That's no, 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 no. We don't call people. All right. So let's see. Let me find, we're going to talk about the moon now. And let me grab it for us. And I need to hop over to here. And let's go. All right. So, how do you sleep when there's a full moon? A, I sleep normally. B, I sleep less and I wake up often. C, I can't sleep at all. D, I don't know. I've never really noticed. I always find that I actually don't realize that it was a full moon until I wake up in the morning and I'm like, gosh, I slept so horribly last night. And then you take a look and you're like, ah, it was a full moon. No wonder. So I have that a lot, that kind of experience where I don't realize it. D, but okay, we have a cliffhanger. So D, I don't know, but never noticed. What about other people out there? What can you tell me? Do you sleep fine? Never thought about it? Alexandra's going with B. I sleep less and wake up often. So success and peace. I think you're new as well here. Welcome. D, D, D. Lots of people saying D. I don't know. Never noticed. Okay. Really? Then maybe take a look. Let's see when the next full moon is. And kind of maybe, I don't know if that's like messing with our science experiment because it's not natural. But when is the next full moon? Let's see if Alessio beats me to it. So 22nd of September is the first day of fall. Thank you, Alessio. So, okay, the next full moon is on October 7th. So maybe take a look and sort of keep your antennae out and see if you feel any kind of difference when you sleep that night. And see if it affects you in any way. I enjoy watching full moons, especially the very, very big moons. Yes, the moon is so beautiful. Good evening to you. I don't think air conditioning is so diffused, I think, in Italian homes. I don't have, for example, but the weather is changing. Okay. And you live in quite often in old stone buildings. And in the States, our homes are usually made out of wood. So they're not really insulated. They don't have all of that sort of natural insulation. So we have to use air conditioning, unfortunately. Okay, so when I find a full moon, I can't sleep. Watching the moon makes me waking up. Okay, so you wake up and watch the moon. I'm not sure exactly. So my name is Jen, as you can see right there, English with Jen, and welcome to our lesson. Alessio, you say A. I sleep normally. It's no big deal. Is there a term sleepless? Yes, when you don't sleep, sleepless. There was a very good movie, Sleepless in Seattle, from a million years ago, where, yeah, the person did not sleep a lot, like a bad quality of sleep. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's see. Let's move on. And I have some nice vocabulary words related to the moon. And let's see what we've got. So I have to see where. All right, let's move on. Here we go. And I need to pop over to here. Meg Ryan, exactly. Oh, Nick, you know that movie. I thought you would be too young to know that movie. Exactly. Sleepless in Seattle. If you like romantic comedies, it's very, very old. It's when email first came out. So that shows you how old it is. It was like, ooh, email. So Sleepless with another S. Oh, and I wrote Sleeple. So oh, sleep less in. Oh, sorry. Nick has written it. I don't need to write it. Hold on. Oh, no, I knew he didn't. He wrote Meg Ryan. Excuse me. So sleep less in Seattle. If you like rom-coms or more like a romantic movie, I watched that movie too. Yes, it's an old one. Yeah, with Tom Hanks. Exactly. Okay, we're all aging ourselves. We're all outing ourselves. So you love legends, you love the latest. Exactly. So I think it was Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan, and I cannot remember who. Maybe they were just pretty much the two main actors in it. And I think one of them lived on a houseboat, I want to say, in Seattle. All right. So we have a bunch of vocabulary words for moon related words. And we have crescent, waxing. So not like waxing, waning, lunar eclipse, and orbit. Here are our definitions right there. The moon is getting smaller. The moon is getting bigger, B. C, the path the moon takes around Earth. D, when Earth blocks the sun's light and the moon looks dark. E, a moon shape that looks like a thin curve. So what can you tell me works best with crescent? Which one do you think? I think this kind of like looks like a fingernail. Like when you clip your fingernails if you don't have long nails, and I never do. So, okay, Alexander is saying one is B. So we've got a lot of B's coming in, or Michaela too. All right. So one is B. Okay. Actually, one is more going to be E, a moon shape that looks like a thin curve. And if you think of a crescent, the crescent shape is on a lot of Islamic and Muslim imagery. You'll see the crescent. Like if you think of the Turkish flag, then that little shape that's kind of shaped like that, that is a crescent. So that shape is often related with Islam, to give you an idea of a link to think of what that word is. Next one, waxing. What can you tell me with number 2? The moon waxing. What do you think? And you have no idea, Miranda. No worries. It's always a fun guessing game. No worries. So number 1 is E, and number 2, any ideas? So 2B, okay, let's see exactly. So when the moon is waxing, it's starting to get bigger. I guess, however, if you live on the southern or the northern hemisphere. Exactly. So number waxing is when it's getting bigger. So B, the moon is getting bigger. And then waning, guess what that one is? What do you think? I think of a croissant. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. That's also the shape. Exactly. So 3 is A. Good guess, Alessio. Exactly, Alexandra. What made you think that? Brenda, exactly. So 3, waning, is A. The moon is getting smaller. Exactly. All right. And then the fourth one, I'm sure, is really easy, a lunar eclipse. 1 was E, 2 is B, 3 is A, and then the opposite of B. Exactly. So number 4, lunar eclipse. What can you tell me for that then? The opposite of B is waning. I hope that helps. Alessio saying D. And Miranda's saying D. Okay, so yes. Hello to you. You're back. Gotcha. All right, so Alexander is saying D. Exactly. Everybody's saying D, lunar eclipse. For D, when the Earth blocks the sun's light and the moon looks dark. We just had one, right? Just, I think, like 2 weekends ago. Exactly. And last but not least, 5, orbit is C, the path the moon takes around the Earth. Also, we talk about the sun, the orbit when something goes around something. Yeah, an orbit. And you can have that sort of metaphorically as well. All right, so let's see. I caught you. Yep, I got it first. All right, so let's see. Let's move to some questions about the moon. It's a fascinating little thing. And the way that I've done this now, instead of doing another slide with idioms, I've kind of included the idiom into the question so you can learn it that way. All right, so here we go. We have number 1. We have, do you think companies sometimes promise the moon in advertisements? And can you give an example? Natalia, 4 was D and 5 was C, just so everybody's on the same path. Yeah, track. 5 is C, 4 is D. And do you think, so to promise the moon, you can also do this if you like. If you would like to give me a definition of promise the moon, no problem. Or you can answer the question, do you think companies sometimes promise the moon in advertisements? And can you give an example? Do you know of any specific examples of companies that promise the moon? I think often in relationships, people promise the moon to each other. Quite often can't deliver, but yeah. I'd say no, most promises are not not kept, definitely. That's for sure. So when you promise the moon, it doesn't mean exactly that you're going to do that. Yes, the moon is millions of miles away. Here we say that pregnant women are more likely to give birth during the waxing moon. Really? Oh, that's so interesting. I have to look when my 2 children were born. That's very interesting. Promise the moon, like promise something unbelievable. Yeah, like make very big promises. Exactly. Exactly. What does that mean? Okay, so if somebody promises you the moon, they tell you you can have that. That's no problem. So many facial creams, so many different cosmetics. They say it's going to get rid of your wrinkles. They've done studies, and 95% of the participants are happier with their skin after they use the product. But we all know that's not going to really help, right? They promise the moon and don't really deliver. Yeah, definitely. Hold on. Car companies promise the moon. It seems that they are selling gold. There you go, Alessio. I'm sorry you've had that experience, but I can imagine. All right, let's move on, sorry, to number 2. What news would make you over the moon today? So again, in this case, you can tell me what does over the moon mean, or you can simply tell me what news would make you over the moon today. So for me today, if my son told me that he was going to go and travel the world for a year, I would be over the moon for him. All-American cried movie? I'm not sure. Yuki, what does that mean exactly? I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what you mean, sweetie. Please give me more info. So, what news would make you all-American? I don't know. Promise the moons sell illusions. Exactly. Promise illusions. Yeah, they promise you that it's going to make you skinnier, make you more beautiful, make you more intelligent. They promise you that you're going to have a better memory, that people are going to like you, you know? And so a lot of times there are advertisements where they use, perfect people and they try to make you think you can look like them. Maybe you do, but that's not the point. I think you know what I mean. So let's see. Some language exchange apps, everything advertised as perfect, but then bet weird people. Okay, but then there are weird people. All right, Miranda, I don't know how, like, then you get weird people. There you go. All right. If I was told If I was told someone was going to the moon, I think they could. I'd be very shocked. I would be shocked as well. The end of the wars would make me over the moon. Yes, right? Like no more war, or the end of famine, the end of human greed. That would make me over the moon to hear something like that. That would be some news. Some intensive feelings. Some intense feelings. Yes, but positive, intense feelings, right? So to be over the moon is a positive thing. You're like, you cannot believe that something has happened. Let's see. We see a lot of American movies. Which has catch copy says all American cried with this. Oh, so all Americans cried because of this movie. Ah, okay. So they use that as like a phrase to like say, okay, Americans found this to be a very emotional movie. Is that one that's more like Promise the Moon, or is that more Over the Moon? I'm not sure. Intensive reactions in a positive way. Exactly. Exactly. Noise is one of those things that makes it seeing is believing, or NASA. Sorry, I read noise. You have to decide for yourself if it's true or not. Yes, you do. Okay, let's move on to the last but not least, a question about moons. And here we go. We have, are there any traditions or festivals connected to moons in your culture? So I think a lot of cultures have specific rituals, traditions that are based around the moon. Yeah, so maybe your culture does, and you can tell us about it. That would be very interesting to hear what you would have to say. Absolutely. I feel like that is a promise. They promised the moon. Okay, okay. Because I mean, I think a lot of people, like, I haven't seen like many advertisements where they would advertise that like every American cried over this movie, or cried because of this movie. Because I think a lot of people wouldn't want to go to the movie because they don't want to cry. So, yeah, to be over the moon means to be extremely happy. Exactly, exactly, exactly. So, so Nick, you have the. I'm going to try. Tharingyut festival. Can you celebrate on the full moon day? And do you do that multiple times a year, or is that for specific full moons? Does anybody else have anything related to the full moon that they celebrate? Any sort of tradition or custom that they can share? You're more than welcome to do that. I'm going to slowly but surely move on to our second to last slide of the day. And we have some phrasal verbs that are related to seasons. And these are ones that we have a group of phrasal verbs. And then I offered sentences for you to put them in. So let's see where we're headed. Let me scoot down here. All right. Nope. What am I doing? Ah, okay. We still have some more stuff. Let me see. I'm going to do phrasal verbs because we've not done them yet today. And so let's do those first. Okay. And then we can kind of go from there. I don't want to keep you hostage, hold you hostage. All right. Once a year. Okay. Then that must be very special. And is that celebrated all over Myanmar? I think Easter is calculated based on the first full moon after the spring equinox. Yeah, okay, okay. Yeah, that makes sense because it's constantly moving. The date shifts, so that makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Michaela. I didn't put that together with Easter. All right, so we have some phrasal verbs here, and we have the phrasal verbs. I hope you can see that. I can't see this at all because it's been completely cut off. So in our word bank, you should have and should be able to see cool down, warm up, set in, and blow over. Please let me know if you can see these 4 phrasal verbs at the top of the screen. Otherwise, I will write them. So Muslim fasting period is related to the moon when it's when it comes to start or when the end of the fasting period. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Okay, so then also another religious activity or religious practice that is related to the moon or coincides with the moon. Yes, we can. Thank you, Alessio. Thank you very, very much for the feedback. Okay, because on my screen it is a goner, so thank you. All right, so cool down, warm up, set in, blow over. Here is our first sentence. Put one of these phrasal verbs into the sentence, whichever one you think makes sense. One, it usually in spring and flowers start to bloom. What can you tell me? Ding, 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 Alessia. And Miranda, exactly, exactly. So it usually warms up in spring. And Miranda, you've written it beautifully because you would definitely need that S on there. So it warms up in spring. And number two, what can you tell me? It blank quickly after sunset in autumn. So you might need a jacket. What can you tell me for number two? It blank quickly after sunset in autumn. So you might need a jacket. What can you tell me? Number one is warms up. Any guesses? Cools down. Exactly. So it cools down quickly after sunset and autumn. So you might need a jacket. Number three, winter has early this year, and the first snow fell last week. So number one is warms up. Number two is cools down. Cools down. Cools? Cools down. Exactly. It cools down because of the it. So the S comes onto the verb. Exactly. Okay. So winter has set in. Super. Brad, and thank you, Alexandra. Winter has set in early this year. The first snow fell last week. And last but not least, exactly, Yuki, the spring storm finally blew over quickly, leaving clear skies. So it blew over. Have arrived. Manual, you can also say has arrived, right? Winter has arrived. You could also say that, not a problem. But in this case, just because we have the set wording up here, then we would say set in, just to practice a phrasal verb. Welcome to our lesson. I missed something. What is the meaning of set in and blow over? Oh, no problem. Okay, so set in means that it's kind of kicked in. It's happening now, right? So winter has set in. You know how like when it starts like right now, okay? Then some days it kind of feels like fall. Some days it kind of feels like summer. And so at some point, it's just going to feel like fall. We're going to have cool days, cool nights. It's going to get windy. You will feel it. And that's when it sets in, when it's really not one day so, not one day the other way. And the spring storm finally blew over quickly, leaving clear skies. So blew over, it's gone. It blew over. All right. Storms calm down finally. Exactly. Exactly. Okay. So let's do this. I think that what we're going to do is we're going to move on to climate change. I have two more slides for us, and then we will say goodbye. And let me see. So we have a couple of new people today. So welcome, welcome. I'm always happy to have new folks here. It's wonderful. We're here every single week. On Wednesday at this time, we start we started an hour and 33 minutes earlier to wherever you are right now, just so you know. We'll be back here next week with another lesson, and you're always welcome to come and participate. All right, oops, I need to scoot over here. Doop. All right, there we go. So number one, how is climate change affecting your country? Okay, how is climate change affecting your country? Have you noticed a difference? I think, who was it? Somebody was telling me, I think it was Miranda that was saying that in Georgia, it doesn't snow so much anymore. Please correct me if I'm wrong. All right, so let's see. I ferret it Figured it out by chance. Little did I know this website from Teneriffa, Manuel here. Well, welcome, Manuel from Teneriffa. So I hope that you follow me, and then you will see that I go live usually Tuesdays at 3 p.m. I guess it's Teneriffa time too. No, it was me. Oh, sorry, Miranda. I thought okay, sorry. Yeah. So I was thinking that and tomorrow we will go live as well at 3 p.m. German Central Summertime. And we will do a quiz. Usually it's on Tuesdays at that time, but I got locked out of my house yesterday. So yes, I have to hide my face in shame. Anyway, so anybody want to tell me how climate change is affecting your country? I would love to hear it. How things are going in your country right now. First and foremost, dear teacher, I don't believe in climate change. Okay. It is called evolution. Aha. Currently, there is a heat wave, 29 degrees. Okay. But so for me, to be quite honest, Manuel, whether it's caused by humans or by nature, it's still change. So for me, when I say climate change, I'm not defining it as to why or how. I'm just saying that it is. Like, things change. So I know that we've had many ice ages, we've had many heat waves and things like that. So yeah, I know climate change has become like this term that is used that is absolutely only for human sort of intervention so the causing this, but that's not what I'm talking about. I mean more like it's different nowadays. Seasons are different, and whether that's man-made or man-made and natural, I don't know. Scorching sun. Ooh, good use of that word, Natalia. Scorching sun during the summer. There's always an effect, like storms and winds and stuff. Okay, let's move on to number 2, taking care of the forest. Teneriffa is all forest, and it lets the air quality. So, and it let us the air quality is better than other parts. Okay, so on Teneriffa, you have a lot of forest, and that really helps the air quality. And that's what individuals can do to maintain forest, to plant trees, to do things so that the earth is protected. I think average temperature jumped about 5 degrees Celsius in my country. Wow. And a lot of heavy rain caused by flooding. Heavy rains that cause floods. Okay, so that's changed maybe in the last, what would you say, 10 years, 15 years, something like that? So if anybody else is still writing and wants to answer this, you're more than welcome to do so. Climate change affects crop production, definitely. Absolutely. Okay. So let's take a look at our last slide. We have one with phrasal verbs. If you are still writing your answer for the last question, please do so. I will read it, but just to kind of keep things moving. Last 5 years have changed our climate significantly. It transformed our area into an arid zone. Great use of that word as well, Natalia. Wow. Okay. Stop plastics at all. So stop all plastics, I think you mean. I'm not sure. Yeah, that would be a great way of protecting the environment, to use things that are renewable. Stop plastics. Okay. All right, that was Manuel. Okay, I thought I said Alessio. I don't know. I'm really tired today, I have to say. I don't know. I have not slept very well in the past couple of days, and yeah, I hope to sleep in tomorrow. I hope to be a little bit more refreshed for our live stream tomorrow. Just these past few years. Okay, so you see a significant change nowadays. And in Germany, we had several summers where there was very, very little rain. And like this summer, we had a lot of rain in Hamburg, but in different parts of Germany, they sometimes don't experience rain at all, which is really unusual. And I've lived here since 1996. So I know the way that the system works here, at least for the past 20 something years. So yeah, I do see a difference. A single eruption could divert Earth's orbit. It means hot or cold, so it does not depend on us. also an option. Maybe an asteroid hits us. I don't know. Maybe the dentist session, maybe. I did, like, literally, Michaela, I kid you not, like, 10 minutes before this lesson, I could still feel like I was drooling, like water was coming out. So I'm very happy that now my face is like not numb anymore. Get rid of plastic. Absolutely. All right. So, phrasal verbs that we hopefully have a nice little word bank at the top of our list here: run out of, switch to, cut down on, and phase out. So, these are idioms, and I know we had multiple of these before. So, hopefully, these will you'll be able to answer this pretty easily. Renewable energy can help. You were thirsty? Yes, I know. I went to the dentist today, and they numbed my mouth here, and so from about, I don't know, 11 a.m. till about 2:55, it felt like half of my face was numb. So plant trees can also help. It's crazy to how we drool in our sleep. That's true too. All right, so we have a lot of people saying one, cut down, cut down, cut down. So to protect the environment, we should cut down on plastic bags. Cut down, and if you want to say to remove them completely, you can say cut out the usage of something. So cut down on, to lower, to lessen that. Try cutting down on, on emissions, on carbon emissions. Exactly. Cut down on carbon emissions. Cut down on using fossil fuels. Cut down on, I'm trying to think. Help me out here. All right. So, number two, many countries are trying to not cut down, but maybe, but I have something else that I have that in mind for this one. Many countries are trying to coal power plants by 2030. Awesome, Alessio. We had this phrasal verb a long time ago. I don't know if you remember it. I know you were around back then. You've been around for a long, long time. So thank you very much for your steady and constant and long time support, Alessio. So you could totally do like cut down on plastic. Exactly. So number two is phase out. Many countries are trying to phase out coal power plants by 2030. So phase out is that you use something, but you use less and less and less, kind of similar to cut down. So you can use them, but phase out is more like a slower process, and where you know that one day you won't use them. Phase out is stopping, right? So the difference between run out, oh, sorry, cut down on, is that we're not really, like, we're just trying to lessen our usage. And phase out is that we're trying to slowly stop using it. So we go from here to here, right? Yeah. You get rid of it gradually. Exactly. You phase it out, but one day, at one point, one day it will be gone. Gradually reduce to slowly reduce it. Exactly. Exactly. And to cut down is where you go, okay, I'm going to cut down on sugar, means you use less. But if I phase out sugar, then every day I use a little bit less. Thank you very much for your questions. This could be very complicated. So thank you very much for asking. All right, so here we go. Number three, if we keep using water carelessly, we might clean drinking water. What can you tell me for number three? Thank you, Miranda. To run out of. What can you tell me? Anybody else agree? We had number one, cut down on. Two, phase out. Three, run out of. Exactly. And last but not least, or maybe we can also think of other things we might run out of at some point if you want to use that. Absolutely, we are, whoops, to run out of clean water for drinking. It is such a tragedy in several parts of Spain, of the mainland in Spain. Wastewater should be punished. Wasting water should be punished severely. Yes. Okay. So we have number four. Cities around the world are starting to switch to renewable energy. So you switch, you change to something new, you switch to renewable energy. You can switch from using plastic bags to using renewable bags or paper bags or whatever it is that you decide to use. So when you switch to something, you used something and then you changed what you used. You found an alternative, reducing gradually to something. Yes, is to phase out. Exactly. So one is cut down on, two is phase out, three run out of, and four switch to. All right, folks. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for an hour and 44 minutes. I hope to see you tomorrow. I think I'm going to have to go live a little bit earlier. I forgot that we are going to do a tour of the Elb Philharmonie. That is the big Philharmonic Hall that we have here in Hamburg. I've never had a tour, and it's supposed to be really interesting. And because I messed up my train and everything got canceled, then yeah. So I'm doing that tomorrow at 4. So I think that I will try to go live at 2:30 tomorrow. So 2:30 Central European Time. So in Germany right now, it is 4:45. So I would go live at 2:30. Now, normally it's at 3, but and I will put definitely something in Instagram so you will have something to market. For those of you who don't follow me on Instagram, if you subscribe and if you click the bell and hey, let me know when she's going live, then you can be part of it too. It's a really nice live stream tomorrow, practicing vocabulary through talking about animals that adapt to different climates. So I think that will be a fun lesson. And I hope that all of you know a lot about different animals as well. And you can come and share your knowledge with me too. So thank you for having me. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I got you 95% of your speech. Woohoo! Golden rule for assets. My ears. I'm not sure what that means. But if you understood 95%, that's super cool. Thank you, Nick. I don't even want to say goodbye. Goodbye, Alessio, my dear. 2:30, exactly. So then we have plenty of time. Okay, 30 minutes earlier than usual. And Yuki, that's probably, I hope, better for you, and Hitoko, where it's not so late. See you tomorrow. Oh, good, Alexandra. I will post something on Instagram so that you'll be able to find it easily. I have been to Ibiza, to Lisboa, to Lisbon, Italy, Tuscany very often. Okay, nice. All right, welcome to our community. So take care. Hope everyone's doing well. I hope that you have a lovely day and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.